Hello, I'm Andrea from the Creative Dream Incubator, and today I'm going to talk about a problem that my clients often have and my Creative Dream Circle members, and it seems like it's not a problem. It seems like a really good thing, but actually is a problem. So the problem is having too much insight. um, you do a class. This happens all the time, right? You go see a psychic reader or a coach or something. You take a class and you get all this amazing insight about yourself, about like what's really going on with you on a deeper level than you're usually accessing. And it's like really cool to be able to see this stuff about you, and especially what people find often when they're new members of the Creative Dream Circle are going, they're experimenting with a bunch of the different classes and tools, and they're just kind of piling up all of these really awesome new insights about themselves, and then they're like, what do I do with all this? Sometimes it's like, it becomes overwhelming to figure out how to work with them. So you can only actually be working with one insight at a time, really. So if you're in a situation where you just learned a whole bunch of things about yourself and you have all these great insights, you are going to have to pick just one to work with to start with. But the good thing is that a true insight is connected to you, to your core, right? So all insights are connected to each other because they're connected to you. So it's kind of like you have this big knot of stuff, and if you start pulling at one, you'll find that everything is connected to that one. So you're not going to lose any of them by choosing to just work with one. So that's the first part if you feel you have too many insights. So then the next step is to be aware that having an insight is only the first step. So having an insight is a fairly surface level thing, right? So the insight or the idea or this like new knowing about yourself or about life, it's now come into your conscious awareness. So it's up here, right? And things that are up here don't have a tendency to actually change anything for us, right? We all know things that we don't act on, right? If that wasn't true, I mean, there wouldn't be any junk food anywhere. No one would ever smoke. I mean, there's just like all these things that we do that we know aren't really that great for us, but we do them anyway. And so this goes the same with insights. If you just realize something about, I don't know, you're not holding your personal boundaries in the healthiest way. Well, you can know that. That doesn't mean you're going to change it just because you know it, right? So having an insight is just bringing it into conscious awareness. That alone is not enough to create change. So if you've been frustrated by having insights and then not changing, know that that's not your fault or that you haven't done anything wrong. It's just the fact that having an insight isn't enough. Right? So things that are up here don't change things. Things that are in your heart, once you really let something in, then it starts to change how you behave on the outside. So this is why I always harp on the inner work with my students, right? If you want to look at how to make a dream come true, if you're looking at even something like building a business, well, you start inside of you. You don't start outside of you. So it's always about taking insights and ideas and integrating them into who you really are and how you really are. So this is really about spending a lot of time with the insight and spending quality time with the insight. So in the Creative Dream Circle, I talked about this in the video about making inspiration cards, and then I made the class about inspiration cards, but the video was just about how when something comes to you that feels important, so when you have an insight, if you create a card about it, I'm going to go get one of my cards and show you. I'll be right back. All right, so this is one that just came to me. Trust your dream, it knows the way. So this was an insight to remember, I don't always have to know the way. It's okay if I'm lost. My dream knows the way. So remember to trust it. So that kind of insight is up here in my head. I want to try to kind of bring it in so that I can live from this and sort of be in a natural state of trusting my dreams. So I wrote this card and I put it on my desk. Keeps reminding you, right? Similarly, you are the miracle. So things that you know that feel true in your head that you'd like to really be able to be living. Right? So I create these little reminders and leave them out. And that reminds me that I'm in the process of integration. So I want to be really gentle with myself because it's not easy to actually change on a foundational level what you believe or where you're living from. Right? So in the case of this trust your dream, so if all of my life I've been taught to trust in hard work, then it becomes really hard to just kind of sit quietly and wait for my dream to speak to me and tell me how to proceed. So that's a really like a foundational belief change, which happens all the time. That's essentially what we're doing in the Creative Dream Circle. We're shifting who we are on that foundational level so that everything above it changes, so that our behaviors change naturally because the way we see things has changed. And then so we can behave differently. We can create something different in our lives much more naturally and much more easily because it's coming from that deep place of integration. So I believe it's always just about connecting more fully to the truth of who you are, so to your own soul, to your own heart, the source of your creative power. So when you think about that, when you think about what a huge difference that makes in your life, hopefully then it helps make it feel less frustrating to remember that it takes time. So integrating each and every insight is a process. So how much time are you going to give that process? So if this is what you're working on, trust your dream, just as an example, I leave this card out. I journal about it every day. So in the Creative Dream Circle, the journaling classes have processes for working with qualities. Use those processes to work with the qualities of what you're working on. Kind of get creative with that. Keep writing about it. Keep writing about how your life is going to change, how you are going to change when you're able to live from the new insight. So you got to really imagine it sort of traveling down from your head into your heart and then into your soul. Imagine that journey and give it what it needs. So don't expect just having an insight to instantly change everything. If it does, that's awesome. But if it doesn't, don't stop there. Keep going. You could also picture the insight as a seed. Imagine you're planting this seed in your inner world. And then every day you're tending to the seed and figuring out how to nurture it so that it can grow. Right? And then as the seed grows, new possibilities are going to grow in